Hello friends, my name's Luke the Gamer Duke. I enjoy playing, dissecting, and talking about video games. And today I want to talk about a particular developer stream that has the ARPG community losing their collective bowels at the moment. And that is the Path of Exile 2 content reveal stream from last weekend. And I have to say, PoE2 was the first game I've been looking forward to in a long time. Since like Diablo 2 Resurrected. And before that, I don't know, Battlefield 1? It's been a while, but there is tons of stuff to be excited about in PoE2. What stuff? Let's go find out. Their video is over an hour long, so I won't be going through all of it, but the link is in the description if for some reason you haven't seen it yet. I want to highlight why I'm absolutely stoked for this game and why I think PoE2 will become the new standard of the genre for the foreseeable future. So let's jump in. First thing we see are the cinematics. Score! And they look so damn good. Many gamers out in the universe tend to hold the opinion that story, dialogue, NPCs, and cinematics are pointless in ARPGs. Well, I believe that to be a bit short-sighted. Those who remember the genre prior to Diablo 3 know that a great story was simply a given within a game to provide context and reasons to care about what you're doing. It doesn't have to be overly complex, but it should at least be well written and make sense. A good story adds so much immersion and replay value and used to be a primary reason why developers even made games. PoE1 was missing a cohesive story and definitely missing cinematics, and I'm very happy to see them spending time and effort creating events and characters to attach yourself to. They then jump right into the skills and gameplay, and it all looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, it looks so good. And something that got my attention immediately is the character animations. The Ranger leaps are a prime example of perfect character animation. They completely nail the basic principles of animation, such as anticipation, follow-through, exaggeration, and arcing, which is animating your characters based on the rules of gravity. This creates a sense of weight, power, and connection to the action. All the animations are precise and fluid. All the characters seem specific and unique in their own right. All the enemies look awesome as well. The design and animations have some serious From Software vibes, and I'm all about it. Different sized enemies really sell their respective weight and movement mechanics, adding grounded realism and immersion to combat. Something that always drives me crazy in ARPGs are the red highlights behind selected enemies. I did not notice them at all here, and I hope it wasn't specifically removed for presentation purposes. It also simply may not be visible when using the WASD or a controller config. If it is added though, I do hope they've included an option to remove or change it. I do really like the rework of the skill system. Every character has access to every type of skill, and finding skill gems will unlock them. Skills also seem tied to weapon types, with several skills for each type. There are of course support gems to add, and now the ability for cross-class point assignments, allowing for mega customization. Personally, I am very much looking forward to how they're handling this new skill system. This is likely a hot take, but I was not at all a fan of how skills functioned in PoE1. They looked and felt great to use, and I do understand and appreciate the innovation in skill gems attempting to break the monotony of the skill tree system. However, the skill gem equipment inserts kinda killed the loot and itemization for me. It got to the point fairly early on where I wouldn't even look at or care about what the item was. I was only concerned about the socket assortment. In any case, I'm really looking forward to how this new skill system is going to function. The single life and mana flasks keep it simple, which is fine for me, so long as the amount replenished and the number of uses are balanced well against the amount of damage you take. They swapped out the buffer flasks for charms, which seems to be functionally the same thing used as a consumable. Again, all good. As for the number of character classes, you will get 6 with early access, and there will be 12 on release. 12 characters! That's crazy! There also seems to be some added agency with your character's actions, such as the ability to manually block with his shield. The skill effects look amazing as well. They give a strong sense of pop while staying refined. The smoke, ice, fire, and other particle effects are flat out great here. I very much enjoy the more refined visuals of skill effects in general. It helps ground the skill within a sense of realism and avoids relating to some Fantasyland style. I also noticed they seem to be keeping the same 8 skill slots, likely including the control skills as well, so that's a win. The passive tree is absolutely massive, as I expected it would be, where you get to add permanent attributes to your character, getting 1 point per level increase. They highlighted nodes which will completely edit how some skills function. One was editing how your missiles function when fired.
This one gives a chance for projectiles to rebound off terrain, as well as giving you some pierce chance to make that more likely. Note that even...
There are tons and tons of nodes to customize your character in whatever way you want to. I really like the keystone skills as well, where it adds a helpful ability but also creates a hindrance. Like equipping two-handed weapons in one hand but doubling the requirements for wielding those weapons. I think it adds a sneaky robust layer of customization and provides a bit of challenge to work around. You will also have a designated passive tree for each of your 2 weapon slots, which will allow you to switch between different playstyles on the fly. Which is awesome. I think this is insanely innovative, and will open up a level of character and playstyle freedom I don't think we've seen yet. Ascension classes are a great idea, which is something I praised Last Epoch for, where your character takes on an additional specialized class route with its own point node system, adding even more agency and customization to your character. I really like how you're not just given your ascension, you have to earn your ascension by going through special dungeon trials, and if you die you fail the dungeon, needing to restart the process. They also touch on items a bit, and I think keeping the legacy trio of item rarity to magic, rare, and unique is a great decision. Item fatigue can be a major hamper on loot grinding and gameplay in general, and limiting the rarity types retains the quality over quantity theme and creates rewarding experience for finding an awesome item. I also really like the more straightforward, seemingly at least, approach to crafting items. I didn't do much of it in PoE1 for a few reasons, limited orb supply and viability being a couple. Orbs now seem to function in a much more lucrative manner, and since items are no longer limited to what your skill gems are, it opens up the ability to craft more often. The endgame is insanely huge. It's an entire continent. You have to beat an area to get to the next area. If you fail, you have to find another way. I'm pretty sure this is the case, but it seems like the level, biome, and atmosphere is related to what the map area actually looks like. There also seems to be tons of random events and specialized enemies within each endgame area. Completing an area will open up the option to add challenges for that area, increasing potential reward output. The creativity overlap seems to be very well thought out. Something I was quite critical of Last Epoch for was the boring repetition of endgame, made even more so with floods of useless or meaningless rewards. I can say this does not seem to be the case for PoE2. They go over so many additional areas, challenges, point systems, and enemy encounters to mix up the monotony of endgame grinding. It seems like an entire additional world to explore. Something I'm actually interested in how they'll balance, though, is how the game will cater to players who have 50 hours a week to dedicate, and players who only have 10 hours a week to dedicate. It should be made entertaining for both. Personally, I fall somewhere in the middle. I usually don't play seasons, as I simply just don't have the time. I'm more of a slow burner, so I know I won't have a problem with running out of things to do. The amount of stuff and the quality of that stuff seems incredibly vast and very well thought out and well done. And I only touched on some of the more primary aspects here. I think there are several reasons why PoE2 will be great, but what will make it the new standard is how all these great systems will intertwine and layer within each other. The skill system is a great revamp. I sincerely enjoy ditching the equipment gems for a skill gem menu as well. Allowing all skills to all characters makes for insane amount of freedom and customization, having equipment stand in their own agency. I think swapping passive trees via weapon swap will be one of the best mechanics, as it allows for actual meaningful playstyle shifts on the fly. There is an old saying, the devil is in the details, meaning you either win people over with them or lose people without them. And they are stacking this game with details. The nuances and character animation is a great example. Another is keeping refined effects while also making them aesthetically pleasing. Not to mention all the level design and environment triggers they showed. I think their attention to small details will be an unsung hero here. If they nail a well-written story with compelling characters, its impact on retention and replay value will be significant. Personally, I always hold the notion that story is important in games like this. Another reason is bringing a strong sense of earning your way, rather than it simply being given to you. Having to earn your ascendancy is a prime example, and there were tons of other areas they highlighted where you have to balance risk versus reward. And lastly is that they're going to release an actual finished product with thoroughly tested systems and a solid framework and foundation. It seems obvious, but in recent years with this whole release it now, finish it later theme, a fully finished game upon release has become a rarity among rarities. And along with Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring, PoE2 will be another successful example of the importance of releasing a fully tested finished product. I have been waiting for a proper release of Diablo 3 since like the mid-2000s. If PoE2 actually comes out as good as it's looking, I think it's safe to say the torch has been officially passed. PoE1 was great and massively successful, but in my opinion it definitely fell through in some aspects. Aspects I think PoE2 will absolutely rectify. This game looks sick. I will definitely be picking up the early access purchase. Fear not, my D2 Resurrected viewers, I have zero intention of placing D2 on the shelf. There's plenty more magic fine grinding, item rankings, and challenges I'd like to put myself through. But I will definitely be playing Path of Exile 2, 100%. I'm currently working on a story review of Last Epoch, which I'm trying to get to the finish line of, because once I purchase PoE2 early access, I likely will not be going back to Last Epoch for quite a while. If ever, honestly. Also, I think it'd be fun to normalize the term exile-like as the official term for this genre. Rod, why did you put this out? You know how the internet works, you know it's gonna get Streisand. So, with this next exile-like installment, I think we're in for a really good time. But feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you play PoE1? Are you looking forward to PoE2? What do you think of the differences so far? Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed these takes, as it really helps me reach new audience members. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss my thoughts on the PoE2 early access. And if you'd like to check out my D2R content, click here. Or click here if you're interested in my gameplay review of current Last Epoch. Thanks so much for tuning in to my thoughts here, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios!